What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video, and in this video I'm going to be doing a ranking of all my Trick or Treat Studios Halloween Michael Myers masks. I'm going to be ranking them from my least favorite to my favorite. Once again, just to make this clear, this is going off by specifically the Trick or Treat Studios masks. So it's not going to be, the movie masks themselves, so it won't be like every mask. It's all the masks that I own from Trick or Treat Studios. Before we get in, I do want to preface, I do not own all of them. I am missing Resurrection, Rob Zombie's H1 Clean, Rob Zombie's H2, both versions, and I am missing the Blood Tears Halloween 2. Oh, and also the K&B H2O. I know it sounds like a lot, but trust me, there are individual reviews for all these masks on my channel. But yeah, I just thought it'd be a fun, cool idea, and so yeah, let's get into it. Coming in last place is my least favorite Trick or Treat Studios Michael Myers mask. We have the Halloween 5 mask. The main reason I put this last on my list is just because I feel like out of all their sculpts, this one is the least accurate to the movie. Also, this is one of their only sculpts that do not come from a hero mold. I know the brand new trilogy, all those masks come from the hero, well, not the hero molds, but a mold from the film. Halloween 4 comes from a mold used in the movie. Halloween 6 does. H2O does. And I'm not sure how many other ones do. I don't think Resurrection does. This one doesn't. But with this one, you can really tell. So it's like the H5 mask is already bad enough in the films. But they almost just make it worse here. The eye shapes aren't exactly spot on. He's got a really wide head. He looks like a balloon. I did have to comb the hair back. Like, I put hairspray in it so my hair stays very well. Because when you first get this mask, my God, the hair will be all out on the sides and the front, and it's a mess. I also do not like how the mouth's open. It was not like that in the film. And also, this mask has this really weird thing where it's always looking up. See what I'm talking about? This is how the mask would sit flat. And it's just always facing upwards. So when you put it on, you kind of have to force your neck up to look up. Or if you force your neck down, this neck bends and looks very strange. So it's also not the most comfortable to wear. Also, the hair on this is really cheap. You can see this was all filled up with hair. But it all pulled off. It's like big strands of hair came out. I don't know what type of hair they used for this. It's a very different hairstyle. Like I said in the review for this guy, if you go to a store and buy extensions, that's kind of what this hair feels like. It's very strange. But yeah, he's just got this funky hairstyle going on too. It's a real mess of a mask in my opinion. Definitely my least favorite by Trick or Treat Studios. Next up on this list, we have the Trick or Treat Studios Halloween 1 Economy mask. Now, this mask is going to naturally fall very low on the list because it doesn't have real hair. And it's just a much thinner latex. Like, look how thin this latex is. Like, I can curl it up in a ball and it'll just retake its form. It's very thin latex. I do think this was a cool idea. Obviously, they got the ideas from all the other cheap, shitty plastic or molded hair Michael Myers masks. I love how they added the horns on the side. I think that was definitely a nice touch. But man, he's just look at it, this lopsided eye he's got going on here. It's just not a pretty mask to look at. They did add the blood wound down there from the first film. He's got a little bit of shading here and on the lips, a little bit of discoloration there on the neck. So it's not all bad, but naturally, like I said, it's just going to fall lower on the list. And this one is just one of those that just definitely falls lower on the list. It's, again, like I said, it's not a bad mask. It's definitely the best molded hair Michael Myers mask you can get. But overall, it's just not great. I guess, actually, I didn't do this with the H5, but I should probably try them all on. It doesn't look too bad. It's this eye that's my main issue. It just looks very lopsided and weird. Yeah, it's not... It fits nice, so that's a plus. It definitely fits very nice. But yeah, just naturally, like I said, it just falls lower on the list. Next up on this list, this one may be slightly controversial. I'm not quite sure. But we have the Halloween 2018 mask. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are like, what? It comes from the mold. Why would you put it this low? First of all, these masks have the worst paint jobs I've ever seen on any Michael Myers mask ever. I swear to God. I mean, just look at how cheap that looks. Just get up there and in close in detail. I get it. It's a mass-produced mask, but my God, dude. It just looks so bad. Also, it doesn't help that my copy is fucking awful. I have one of the worst copies of a 2018 mask I've ever seen. It's god awful. The one thing this mask does do right is the slit in the mouth. It's very thin. You can't even tell it's there. So that is good. But my God, man, the paint, it changes this mask so much that it almost doesn't even look like it's from the mold at all. It's such a bad paint job. Again, their worst paint job they've done by far on any one of their masks. Yeah, it's a mess. The hair's not terrible on it. I do like the hair. I think the hair is nice. But my God, I just can't get past this paint job. Like, what? Why is it all like brown around here and then gray like smack dab in the middle? Like, it's so bad. The side profile definitely looks like the mask from the film, but then you just look at it from the front, it's like, it just doesn't look right. I don't know what it is, and I'm guessing it's because of the paint, because these are the molds from the film. Try it on. Very tight mask, too. This mask is very tight. Very tight. It just doesn't look right to me. I might have to, like, glue the hairline down a little bit. Because the hairline up here is just real bad, too. Oh. But yeah, it is a very tight mask. If the paint job was actually good on these, I would rank it higher, man. But it's just, the paint job is just so atrocious. And again, this is not a knock on Trick or Treat Studios. I understand it is a $60 mask-produced mask. But man, like, and again, it's one of those things where it's just like, I got a really bad copy too. But yeah, it's the paint on the mask just yeah, it just really lowers it for me, man. So coming up next on this list, we have the Halloween 4 poster mask. Now, there's actually a lot of good about this mask. It's very thick. It's a very thick pull. Much thicker. Like, it's got almost no give to it. It's very thick. This mask can actually stand up on its own, which I really appreciate. But overall, it's got a lot of issues going on here, man. Look, first of all, the hair. The hair is kind of god-awful on this mask. It's very bad. Very bad hair. One thing that this mask did allow me to do is put the horns onto it. You know, the classic Michael Myers horns. You know, that he always has in the first film. So that is a nice touch. It is an amazing sculpt. I mean, this looks just like the H4 poster mask. The only issue is, I'm not a huge fan of the H4 poster mask. I know it's supposed to be the H1, but if you look at the poster mask for Halloween 4, it is very wide like this, and that's about what you see of it. It's about that. Also, I don't know what it is about Trick or Treat Studios masks. They can never get the eye cuts right. No matter what mask it is, their eye cuts are always god-awful. Look at these eyes. Look at them. Why is this, like, why? It's not even a full circle. Like, their eye cuts are so bad. And it takes away from their molds so much when their eye cuts are this janky, man. Because obviously, you know, when they do the molds, they still have to cut the eyes out. So, you know, it's like they're cut by, like, I would guess, laser. One thing I also do appreciate, though, is that they added the the discoloration, you know, the skin tone popping through. I think that was a very, very nice touch. Put mine on. I do have Velcro on mine, so. It just looks bad. It's the eyes that really do it, man. It's the eyes. Without the Velcro, it looks like this. Which I think the neck looks ridiculous. But yeah, it's just, overall, it's not a very charming looking mask, in my opinion. Next up on this list, we have the original Halloween 2 Deluxe mask from Trick or Treat Studios. Yeah, this mask, I have a lot of nostalgia for this mask. I do love it. But man, I feel there's just something that's just not right about this mask. Granted, mine is kind of definitely, you know, different. Like, this is not how you will buy it stock. You know, I added some damage to mine, some big damage. I redid the hair to make it more movie accurate. But again, my main issue with this sculpt is the eye cuts. You know, look at those eye cuts. This one's not so bad, but this one is fucking terrible. It is terrible. They're awful eye cuts. And again, the eyes make or break a Myers mask for me, man. They really do. I think the paint job's pretty good. You know, I love how they got the skin tone and everything. Don't know what's up with these lopsided lips. It looks worse on camera. Like, when you look at it from a front, it's not so bad. Also, the side profile is pretty good, especially when if I Velcro it. That's Halloween 2 right there, man. That is Halloween 2 to a T. It looks great as a side profile, but then you turn it and it's fucking hideous. It is fucking hideous. It's this eye, man. It's this eye. I do love this mask. I really do. You know, I've loved it since I was such a little kid. But man, the eye cuts are terrible on some of these masks, man. I'll go ahead and put this one on. Trying to push that hair back a little bit. Side profile. No, it's just the eyes, man. It's this eye. It ruins almost the whole mask for me, man. Obviously, this wasn't recasted off of anything, because obviously the mask. First of all, the mask itself in Halloween 2 obviously is destroyed, and pretty much, and the other two, well, the other one hasn't been found yet, but also it didn't look like this. The mask, it only looked like this when Dick Warlock was wearing it, so it's not like, you know, they could cast it off of anything. So I understand why it's not extremely great. Coming up next on this list, we have the Halloween H2O mask. Now, there's a lot that this mask does right. First thing, the sculpt is amazing. This was recasted, definitely. You can tell it's just it's too close to the actual mask used in the film to not be recasted. Yeah, it's a good mask, until you get to the hair and the paint. What the fuck is wrong with my hairline? What happened? What is all that? Why is the whole top of the mask, why is the whole temple brown? And what is with the eyebrows too, man? It's like they like slightly went over it with spray paint. It should be they should be fully colored in brown. And then, oh my god, the fucking hair on this guy is atrocious. It is awful hair, man. Awful hair. This hair is some of the worst I've seen on any mask. And you bet it comes out like no other. This is a terrible hairing job. There's only one other Halloween mask that I've seen that was like this. And it was the Halloween Resurrection mask. Had a hair job like this, and it was fucking awful. I remember when I had that mask as a child, it bothered me like no other. That hairstyle bothered me so bad. Now, granted, if you want to try and give like an accurate H2O hairstyle, you might want to go something like that. He obviously does have that crazy ass hair in the film. But even then, it just doesn't really look right. I mean, just look at this. Look at this. I could just sit here yanking it out, and it would just keep coming and coming out. It's so bad. Look at this. This hairstyle, hair job is like on par with, I'm talking the original Don Post Michael Myers mask, where you could just rip the whole fucking hair out in one go. It was that bad. So, yeah, the sculpt is great, but paint and hair, not doing it for me, man. Yeah, it looks good when you're on it. It's pressed very tight up against your face, like it should be, because you're supposed to see his eyes throughout the whole film. So, yeah, it's a very tight mask. And you can see the neck is kind of cut off. It's funny because in the movie, that's kind of how it looks. But I'm pretty sure it had a neck extension that kind of came down to around the chest area. It was like a circular type, almost like Batman type of thing. Which is, it's just fine. I mean, they didn't have to add that. I'm kind of glad they didn't, because I just kind of like mine with a nice, clean display. But yeah, that's where H2O goes. Next up on this list is the 1978 classic, the Halloween 1 mask. I don't know how to explain this mask. I'll tell you what they did really well. The eye cuts are beautiful. Beautiful eye cuts. I love those eye cuts. They were done so much better than pretty much every other Myers mask up until this point. The hair on this mask is fucking atrocious. It's god-awful. It is such terrible hair. It's just, yeah, it's god-awful hair. Obviously, I have it set for 78. Got the horns and everything. Have it set to the 78 hairstyle. But yeah, man, this mask is just so fucking white. There is no weathering by the temple. There's no weathering by the eyes. Very slight. Barely any weathering there. Barely any on the lips. And there is no flesh tones on the neck. None at all. So it's a little disappointing. And God, for God's sakes, trying to set the hair this way was the biggest pain in the damn ass ever. It took me forever to get this hair set right and set correctly. It took me forever. And it still don't even look that great, but, I'm trying on. It's also, this mask is huge, too, but the sculpt is amazing. It's a great sculpt. It truly is. It's just... the hair on it is atrocious and the paint sucks. But thankfully, they did the eye cuts right. They didn't screw up the eye cuts, thank God. Because that is just a running theme with Trick or Treat Studios masks. Next up on this list, we have the Halloween 2 version 2 mask. Now, I have a lot of love for this mask, actually. I really dig this mask. I remember when I got it about 6 months ago now. I was delighted with it. I think it is a far improvement over the original H2 that they did. Now, I actually want to talk about this mask because there's actually a lot of controversy around this mask. The main thing I always hear about this mask is, why is it yellow? Why does it look like that? It wasn't yellow in the movie. Why is it so discolored? Heard so many people say it, including House of Masks. Dude, it is a look of the mask in the film. In other words, in certain scenes, the mask does look like this. It is merely them trying to recreate certain scenes from the film. They weren't trying to do a fully accurate version of the mask with this. They were just trying to capture a certain moments in the film. It's like this because, as us Halloween fans know, this mask, especially in Halloween 2, looks like a completely different mask in almost every fucking scene. This mask, for whatever reason, the way Dick Warlock just wore it, it just looked different. Sometimes it was really stretched. Other times it was a little longer. If I could put pictures up, there's certain scenes where it's just like stretched across his face. And then it's like skin tight. And then other scenes, a great example, in the parking lot where he's looking into the rear view mirror of the car. It looks more like this. It looks very elongated, but also very spread out. It's got a big, wide neck, and it looks like this yellow color. There's certain scenes in the film where it just looks that way. Now, the reason it's not higher on this list is because this has one of the worst hairlines any Michael Myers mask I've ever seen has had. It is so bad. The hairline is just atrocious on this mask. Now, the way I have this one set, I'm going to grab this mask. These are like two completely different H2 hairstyles going on here. This one I have set, again, to look more like that parking lot scene where he's looking into the rearview mirror. He had the real poofy hair in that scene too. Almost like how it looked in the original. This one is the other look for Michael in the film with the really matted down hair with the spikes coming off to the side instead of going up and down like on this version. So it's kind of like the two different looks for Michael. That's how I always look at Halloween 2. There's this version, which looks very wide in the film with a big fat neck and the poofy hair. And then there's that version, which really looks very stretched across Dick Warlock's face. He's got the real pushback here with the spikes coming out off the side instead of up and down. So I kind of have it set to like an H1 hairstyle, which I really dig. I like how poofy it is. I really dig that. He's also got the nice needle wound, which I think that looks great. Just looks like old blood. This mask looks so soiled and just nasty, which is what a white mask would look like. After enduring all that smoke, because obviously Deborah Hill was a smoker, yada yada yada, etc. So yeah, you see, it's got that really wide neck. The eye cuts are just, it's the same thing as always. They're bad. You can Velcro it. Looks really tight on the face. The side profile is sublime. But yeah, I really like this mask. The hair, this is probably one of the best hairstyles or hair jobs out of all my Trick or Treat Studios masks. I absolutely love this mask. So coming up next on this list, we have the Halloween Kills mask. Now, my big complaint with this mask is the paint job is pretty atrocious. Again, I know it is a mass-produced $60 store-bought mask. A lot of these collectors, they just want screen-accurate masks for the same price, but it'll never happen. First of all, people are too greedy to sell screen-accurate masks for the same price. But yeah, I do like what I did with mine. Obviously, I've had mine repainted to make it look better than it did, because my God, it was all just yellow over here, man. It was all yellow. It was so bad. There was just way too much yellow going on. The hair on it is amazing. I love... I don't know what they did to get this effect. I don't know if they put some sort of... I don't know if they put something in it to make it look this way. They didn't burn it with a blowtorch. Chris Zephyr said they didn't. But so they did something, The hair sometimes pisses me off a little bit because, you know, in the movie, the hair kind of goes upwards and kind of balls here in the middle. It's kind of all poofy in the middle. They weren't able to capture that with their version of the mask, which is fine. It's an amazing sculpt. This is so much better than the 2018 sculpt, in my opinion. Yeah, just wish they would have done a bit of a better job blending everything, but let's put mine on. Get the nice blood work here. Looks pretty good. You know, it looks awesome. Love the eye cuts. The eye cuts are amazing. So glad those weren't messed up. You know, you got the you know, a lot of the curling down here. And overall, it's just a really good mask. It's just the paint job is my only issue with this mask. Next up on this list, we have the Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 mask. Now, I have done some modifications to mine slightly, mainly down here at the bottom. When you first buy this mask, it will not be like this. It will just be straight, which is not accurate at all. You know, it has to have these indents in it. It's just part of how it was in the film. The paint job isn't great. It's like really yellow color. It's also a very big mask. But I love the sculpt, obviously. This comes from the movie sculpts. That is straight up Tyler Maine's face, because they obviously they used a life cast for him. But yeah, this mask is gigantic. I do love this mask, though. I really do. This might be one of their biggest masks they've done, which makes sense because of the fact that, you know, Tyler Maine is a huge guy. And one thing you'll always notice in the movie, this mask has a really big neck. That's one thing I always noticed about the films, is how big the neck was. So I'll put it on. See how big the neck is? It's huge. I do have Velcro on mine. Looks a bit stretched, just a bit. So you can kind of do it like this. But yeah, I do really love this mask. The hair on it's decent. It's not amazing. It's like very soft hair. But again, we still have these problems going on with it's the bald strip in the back. I really wish they would just kind of find one good hairstyle and stick with it. I don't think they've really found it yet. Hopefully, eventually they will. Even though they pretty much have made every Myers mask there is to make. You know, they've done everything. I really can't think of any other Myers masks they could do. Hope they still do more. But, yeah, I dig the hell out of this mask. Next up on this list, we have the Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers mask. I love this mask, man. This is one of my favorite masks in the franchise. Which, my next upload should be a mask ranking of the entire franchise. So you'll see where I rank it in that video. But yeah, they did a really bang up job on this mask, man. This definitely comes off of one of the molds. It has to. Again, this is one of those masks that just looks too much like the movie to not be. So yeah, they did a fantastic job. The hair on this mask is really good. Nothing comes out. It just won't. It's full as well. Like, you will not find any bald strips back there. Now, you can, you know, style the hair however you really want. It's always crazy and messy in the fucking movie. I think the paint job is pretty good. Pretty good. You know, these masks used to be really fucking yellow. They were so yellow. Back when they first originally came out, I remember it. They were just this really bad yellow color. I think they've finally decided to, move away from that a little bit. It's not really so yellow anymore. They're more white now, which is good. It's also not a huge mask either, which I appreciate. I do have Velcro on mine. The hairline on this mask is really good as well. My only issue is the hair on the top gets a little poofy looking in my opinion. It was more flat in the movie. But that's just the way the sculpt was. There's nothing you really can do about it, but yeah, man. Love this mask. Coming in at number 2 on this list, we have the Halloween 4 mask. Everything about this mask is pretty much perfect. I mean, they nailed the shit out of this mask, man. And I mean, they nailed it. Absolutely nailed this mask. From the hairstyle to the overall look of the mask. Now, obviously, this was recasted off of one of the heroes of the film. But the way they painted it, it's all like chipped away and it's very bumpy. It's got the neck extension. It's got the eye mesh. It looks fantastic, man. They did such a bang-up job on this mask. The hair isn't complete dog shit. It looks great, man. It looks fucking great. It's got some nice dirt going on here on the forehead, the cheeks. Put it on for you. Got to keep the only problem is trying to keep the hair to stay back. This is Halloween 4. It's perfect. It's such a tight fit too, which I love. I can't stand when these masks are all floppy and loose. Pisses me off. Yeah, Trick or Treat Studios, you nailed it. And coming in at number 1, what I really think is Trick or Treat Studios' number 1 mask, even out of the ones I don't have, we have the Halloween Ends mask. They nailed it. They nailed this mask, man. They fucking nailed it. This looks literally almost like the movie mask. It really does. When I saw it, I was like, I don't even think I'm going to have to ever get this rehauled. It looks just like the film. It really does. If I had to complain about one thing, it's the hair. They kind of did this thing where they put like this extra patch right here in the front, and you can kind of see it creases. There's like an opening right here, and it looks a bit strange from the front. It's not exactly the nicest looking thing in the world. But yeah, man, they fucking crushed this mask. They even repurposed their hairline. Like, they redid it. The eye cuts are beautiful. The mold effect is beautiful. It pisses me off when I see people thrash the mold effect on this mask. They did a bang-up job, man. My mold effect has still stayed to this very day. It's glued down perfectly. The sculpt is perfect. It's a beautiful mask. It's so beautiful. I love what they did with it, personally. It's a good size, too, man. It's amazing. It just looks awesome. It looks perfect. It looks so good. This is Trick or Treat Studios' best mask, by far. I really wish they could have like had the same success with all of their masks. Because, man, they did a phenomenal job. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Bye, guys.